Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Ooga booga. Mostly.
You know what? I don't know what I expected, but this just blew all those expectations out of the water.
I didn't expect
Jesus.
anything. I mean, I try to go into these as blind as possible. Sometimes you can't. Because, either the title is so stupid or the rating is so low that it's impossible.
Right.
But I try to go in it with as open mind as possible.
Believe it or not, we do actually try and give these movies a fighting chance, okay?
Well, we want to like these movies.
I want to like all of them, okay? It's just a lot of the times they don't give me that opportunity.
Yeah, we may be like 10, 15% of them.
There's a few hidden gems, but not a lot. Okay?
No.
Now,
This
tonight
is
we
that.
watched it. It is that we watched Terror. Simple title, simple plot too, but really well done actually for the small budget and like the effects. Whoever did the effects on this movie should be commended because
They went ham.
They went ham on a lot of the stuff, and they had a small ass budget, and they made it really effective. So, like,
They made it work.
I commend the effects department for this movie. Now this is the same guy who directed Prey, right? I wonder if it's
From
probably
77.
probably it's the same like effects department and everything too. Because I remember Prey had some pretty good effects as well.
Prey was mostly like makeup effects.
It was more simple.
Yeah.
This is like has more like just weird shit going on,
Crazy.
and it's great.
It's very, if you've ever seen like a Dario Argento movie, this feels like a low budget Argento.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it's shot and like how all the deaths are filmed.
Yeah, no, I can see it. I can totally see it. And I don't know, like the soundtrack was pretty creepy too. It
Yeah.
was eerie. It added to the whole like kind of like atmosphere of the whole movie. It was really, really well done. I'm not even gonna lie here. Like,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this movie.
No, I like this. This is like a nice little, I don't know, it's an hour and 20-minute.
It's like a nice
romp.
It's a nice little horror romp. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get what you want. You're gonna get like cool deaths. You're gonna
You
get,
got your
like-
blood, there's
got-
nudity, there's even comedy
Yeah.
that they throw in.
It's got everything a horror fan would want. Okay. And by God, it's just an enjoyable ride. It's free on YouTube. Just
Yeah.
like do yourself a favor and go watch it.
YouTube's the only place I could find this thing. So I don't know if like it's just straight up no one bothers owning the rights to it or what, but you can watch this for free on YouTube.
So go watch it now before you listen to our review, and just kind of form your own opinion. Like I mean, you obviously come here for entertainment, but
Yeah.
like I don't know, like this one's good. So
Yeah, I can't really
like,
make fun of this
Go
one. so-
watch it. We're not gonna really I'm not gonna riff on it too much because like honestly, there's not much to tear apart here.
No.
Because it's just a solid, like, little tiny B horror movie that doesn't waste your time and it's just enjoyable. I know. It doesn't waste your time. What a thought.
Do you remember we watched a little film called Alien Factor?
Oh my god. It was less runtime than this and wasted more of our time. Somehow.
I forgot that Alien Factor was like a good 10, 15 minutes shorter than this.
Yes, and they did less.
Yeah. Well, we did have the greatest fight scene ever, so I guess I can't say too much about Alien
With
Factor.
the invisible alien.
with
Yeah, sure.
someone's dad falling down a hill, a tiny hill.
Yes. But so anyway, go now, like pause the episode, go watch Terror.
1978.
You have to search Terror 1978. They have a full film there. It's not the best quality, but it's not the worst. We've seen a lot worse on this podcast.
It's probably the best
so-
quality you'll get unless someone like Shout Factory remasters this thing or something.
wish.
Yeah.
because I would probably own this if they did, to be honest.
A remaster would look great.
So, but yeah, anyway, so go watch Terror 1978. It's going to be a great ride. And then come back and we're going to start the review now. So, here we go.
Alright, so the film starts with, it's like you get like a bunch of people running in the woods with torches.
Yeah, so it starts with kind of like a, like, kind of witch trial-y era thing.
Because you see people setting up like a bear trap.
Yes, so
and you see a woman running away from like a crowd.
Yes.
And
so she runs into the bear trap. Her leg gets caught,
and they catch her.
They drag her to a wood pile.
And then you get a woman in her house, and there's like all this kind of weird shit going on, like noises and things moving. And then a guy comes in, and he's like, they got her.
And he's like, you should stay here because I don't want you to see this. And she's like, no, she's been like,
after all the stuff she's done to us,
yes,
like I need to see this.
I need to see her killed. And so
they go out to the wood pile with her, and there's like a priest there, reading the sermon, and eventually like shit starts.
Well, she says like, master, like, please, like,
help me.
And so he like, wind blows away the Bible.
A guy tries lighting the
pyre, and he like, and the fire like crawls up his arm, and he just fucking gets set ablaze.
And everyone just starts freaking out, but eventually the
it's so quick how like quickly she get.
Yeah, because like it like we see like the fire going up to her, and then in like 2 seconds later
we just see a dummy falling down on fire.
Yeah, she's barbecued.
Yep.
And that's it. And then we see a guy like going back to the house, and something fucking just like an arm comes out of the wall and chokes him to death.
Yep.
And then the woman who wanted to see the witch die comes home. She sees like the body like hits her because it's like
the arms like hit her in the face, and like blood drips on her face, and she like screams.
The body falls on her. She can't get up.
And then the witch comes over and is like, your whole family is cursed.
Fucked.
Like your entire lineage is done.
And she just takes a sword and chops her head off.
Yep. And then
we get the end shows up,
and we're like, what?
And I almost had a heart attack. I'm not even gonna lie. I almost had a heart attack when the end showed up. I was like, wait a minute, is this a bamboozle? Like, did they just put like the last 5 minutes of the movie up?
Yes.
Did we just get fucked?
Right.
But then we see a bunch of people watching a projector.
Yeah, so they've made this film, and they're watching their final like creation.
Yeah. Well, it's a film that's been around for a while, because they joke about like how this guy makes them watch it
right
all the time. But basically, we see that it's a guy who's like, he's related to the people in the film, and they're having this party, and he makes all of his friends watch it.
Well, and like, so he owns the house that this supposedly all happened in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is where the witch got burned at the pyre. This is where...
And he has the same sword
yes.
that she used above, like, the fireplace.
Yep. So this is where the witch did her deed.
And they're just
cursed fucking everyone.
Cursed everyone. Fun times.
So they're all joking around that this is like a huge curse, and like a lot of people just think it's a hoax and everything, and like
just got a wild imagination.
Yes. So then they're all partying because they're just having this giant party, and
one of his friends is like joking around about how he's got some tricks up his sleeve.
Well, and how he can hypnotize people, or so he says. He can hypnotize people.
And he tries to hypnotize, and he goes to hypnotize this like woman that he's with.
She like puts her hand over a candle and like makes it all, and then like there's a loud like snap, like glass shatters, right?
Yeah.
And the woman that's supposedly hypnotized gets all scared, and he's like, "Oh, come on! Like you were supposed to be part of the act. You aren't supposed to get spooked like that."
And there's a lot of comedy in this. It's pretty well done. But basically, yeah, because like a branch hit a window and knocked it out, and the guy starts like the homeowner like goes away to the kitchen, and he sees that like all the glass is like shattered.
Yes.
And while he's doing this, So his cousin is at the party.
Well, I like this scene too because like when he picks up one of the vases, like he picks up like a pitcher and it's kind of cracked and then it just explodes in his hand.
Yeah. Like all the glass is just shattering.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, his cousin is there, and she's like, "Well, why don't you try hypnotizing me?"
She's like, do it to me," and then one of the party guests is like, "I'll do it to you." The comedy is actually pretty good.
And so the guy does it, and he's like, and then the homeowner is like, "Hey, like, there's something going on. Like, all the glass is shattered."
Well, and he's like, "Check this out! I actually hypnotized her. Like, she's actually in a trance."
And he's not listening to him, and eventually, he's just like, being like, "Stand up, okay?" And like, I'm gonna count to 3, and in 3 seconds, you're gonna wake up.
And so he's like, 1, 2, 3, and then she's not out of the trance, and
she turns around,
goes to the sword
as he's arguing with like the other woman, like, "What the hell? Like, what's the deal?" And she's just like, she's joking on you, or playing a joke on you.
She like picks up the sword, brings it over to the guy, and literally tries to murder him, and he like dodges out of the way before the sword can hit him. It grazes his shoulder.
It cuts his shoulder a little, and they all grab her, and she's like acting weird, and he just smacks her, and she snaps out of it.
And gets all upset and runs away.
And then everyone else starts like petering out of the party.
Yep. And then there's this one girl, the girl that was like fake hypnotized.
Yeah.
She like goes out and she's like walking home.
And she
gets knocked over by like
it's
like a really strong wind.
Yeah.
And she gets like tousled and she gets stabbed in the shoulder.
We see like
by the sword. You see the tip of the sword. It's like just filmed. It just filmed.
It's more like it's like a knife.
Yeah.
But the way that they film it is very. That's why I said like it's like a low budget Argento, or even if you want to call it low budget Hitchcock.
Yes.
Because you get a lot of shots of like the
dagger or whatever.
Dagger
in
the air, just kind of like stabbing at something, and then you see it like briefly like penetrating skin.
Yeah.
But she runs away. She goes into like this like shed.
She locks it and like kind of thinks she's gotten away because like there's not a lot of noise happening.
Yeah.
It tries to someone tries to kick down a bunch of boards.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff.
like all these boards, and someone tries kicking them down. Someone tries opening the door. Eventually, she leaves and gets to the road. Everything looks fine, and she gets kind of poked to death.
Yeah, so it's just showing the tip of the sword or whatever is stabbing her and
going into like
different places, and she just gets fucking murdered.
And
so then we go back to the house, and the guy's looking for Anne, the girl who almost killed him.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the girl who almost killed the other guy.
Yeah.
So he's looking everywhere for her, and the guy's like, "Well, I think she went back to the hostel. Like she isn't here. She ran away after you like slapped her, basically."
And we get a scene of the hostel, and there's this like woman. She's on like her bed reading something, and then she hears a noise.
And I want to mention this hostel is like full of like up and coming actresses that are trying to get like roles in big movies. And so the Anne comes home and is acting all weird, and she like just stares at the girl for a minute and then goes into the bathroom,
and the girl follows her, and she looks in the bathroom and she sees her washing
blood off her hands.
Red liquid.
Yes.
Off her hands.
And it's funny because then it shows the friend leaving the house finally, and as he's driving down the road, he just sees the one woman like pinned to a tree by a knife.
A knife through her throat. And like all her legs and everything else is bloody, like it's been stabbed. And then we get like the next day, there's a news report about this woman being found dead.
She's gonna be in like this up and coming film, and like she was kind of an aspiring actress, and everything. So they're investigating. Basically, it doesn't show any of the cops, but it just tells us that they're investigating the murder, and they're looking into this guy because he owns a film studio, and that's where she was.
Yeah.
And she was with him last, so they're investigating him. So he's all freaked out.
And we get his like film studio where they're filming a softcore porno,
Yes.
and it's just like
The scene is so fucking insane.
this is great because it's just like this hack director and these two actors that are like they're played to be like stupid.
Well, like one of the women like keeps forgetting her lines.
The
and
guy has like because they're in like the bath and she's supposed to be like rubbing him,
when he's like no interest and, he, like
and the director keeps yelling at him like you have to like actually pretend to be like interested in
When I
this.
love it because they even do the thing where like the woman moves weird and he's like ow and he's like don't do that, like do your like pleasure moan 2 or
He's
whatever.
like, do your pleasure noise number 2, and he's just like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like they have to pretend to like be into it and everything, and it's great
and they have to like keep reheating because they're in a tub. They have to keep reheating the water.
because the actress is not only forgets all her lines and everything, but is very demanding about this, like of how
How it's done. But
So he gets all. So the studio owner gets all freaked out because the police are investigating him.
he's
and
like, they're gonna come here and see all this, and they're gonna
he's
fucking
like,
think.
I gotta stop him. He's like, listen, you gotta stop filming your porno. And the guy's like, why? Like, I bought this studio for 2 hours.
And he's like, I'll give you a free weekend or whatever, and just leave.
And I love it because the girl's like, I like quit like a nut bar,
A nutty bar commercial.
a nutty bar commercial
for this shit.
Oh god, it's great. So
He kicks all of them out, and
then we get a scene of Anne back at the hostel, and she's acting all weird with her other like roommates basically because they're like
well, they're like they're going out and all this stuff, and she's just kind of sulking.
yes, and then one of them talks to him and is like, well, I saw you like washing blood off your
Like
hands,
she's like, are you still thinking about that murder?
yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but there's all this stuff going on that you just want to understand. And then she mentions like, I saw you washing something off your hands, and she's like, oh, I cut myself.
She's like, what, you're not implying anything, are you? And the girl's like, no, but like, you know, like I can't remember what she asked, like a kind of like she's accusing.
Yeah,
It's like a question where she's like kind of subtly accusing her of it, just
being
because
involved.
like stuff like lines up too well.
Yeah,
And Anne gets all like huffy and like leaves, and so the girl does too. And
well, she's offering her like, because they all work at this
this club. Yeah.
where it's kind of like, it's like I don't know, like a hostess club or whatever you want to call it, where like you, like guys kind of like give you money so you can like talk to them and pretend to be interested.
Right.
And she works there, and because she's trying to be like, hey, like I'll give you a ride to work, and she's like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna come in today.
Yeah.
So the woman goes, and on the way there, her car dies,
In like the middle of the woods, and it's like this thunderstorm.
and she starts running, and she gets to like this empty like lodge.
Now, I do want to mention, so she gets to this lodge and she starts looking around. There are some good, like, kind of creep out moments.
Yeah.
There's like, so she's looking around and she like keeps seeing like shadows and stuff, and then there's this one part right where she gets to the phone that the lightning flashes and like shows her reflection in the
And
mirror.
she looks at it. Yeah.
But it's very brief, and it actually like it creeped me out
Yeah.
a little bit because you think there's someone in the room with her, but you realize it's just a mirror.
What I appreciate, and what I know you appreciated after many movies, is that all the night scenes
Oh yes,
are actually filmed at night.
there's no day for night here, folks. It's all nighttime. So yes, it is a dark film, but it's well done that you know what's going on.
That's why it would be nice to see a remaster,
Yes.
because the night scenes would look better. But it is all done at night, and it works pretty well, especially when like when she's in the house, and you just get this like very faint blue light with the occasional like lightning flash.
Well, I love
going
it
off.
because it's like all about like the unseen, right?
Yeah.
Like you have no idea if she's alone. It's very dark, so it's like there could be anything lurking in there because we don't know what exactly is going on.
We don't know what the fuck's happening
because all we saw is the fucking tip of a blade.
That's it.
So far. Like that's the only thing we've seen. We don't know what's murdering these
No.
people. And there's only one death so far, but So she calls the repairman and she tells them where they are and everything. And then she waits a little bit, but she hears like this banging sound and like.
Well, we see like a quick before she even hears that. We see like someone walking through the woods.
But they're like lumbering. They're like, they're kind of like Frankenstein walking through the woods, not with their arms outstretched, but like just arms to their side, just slow, like a jaunt.
Yeah, we basically see like it's such a very large man.
Yes.
Walking, and then she hears a noise, and she like runs over, and she sees like him, just like his dark silhouette out the window.
In the window, walking past, and that was pretty creepy too.
And she starts getting like freaked out and starts hiding, and then he like ambles on in.
And then we see like the lightning flash, and it like silhouettes his entire, like his very tall frame is all creepy. And he's like getting up to her, and we're like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen?
And then she takes her like flashlight and like slowly shines it up his body, and he's like, "You need a mechanic."
Yep.
End scene.
It's great because it's like it is like a fake out moment, but like it's so well done that it actually like creeped me out.
I appreciate that it didn't end on a jump scare.
And there's not really any jump scares in this movie. It's very atmospheric, and it's very like kind of like fake out horror moments, but like they're followed up by like
the actual thing
horror moments. No, I mean, except for this one. This one doesn't. They don't follow it up with everything, but
with this after this scene, we get Anne walking to the club,
and some guy's trying to proposition her, and she like walks into the club and starts getting ready, and all of the women are like, "Oh, you're here. You said you weren't gonna." Oh, sorry, text tone. Sorry about that. So they're like, "Why are you here? You said you weren't gonna come out tonight," and Anne it just makes up an excuse. And so
they start going about their business. There's like this fucking S&M performance going on at the club.
Yes.
I mean I probably should have known that this was the same director as Prey when this scene happened, because we get full frontal nudity.
Yep.
As in Prey.
So as Anne's getting ready, her cousin, the dude that owns the house,
shows up and
confronts her.
And he's like, we still need to talk about like what happened that night.
And she's like, I don't want to talk about what happened, because at this point we're kind of led to believe she doesn't know exactly what she did while in that trance.
Yeah.
Because she was in a trance. She has no idea. All she remembers is him slapping her, basically.
But she feels constantly on edge.
Right. One, she was like washing blood off her hands. Like she's like, obviously something fucked up is going on.
But she goes on about her job. There's like this guy who's endless, like wasted and is propositioning her like for like a blowjob and everything. And
then he finally like kind of almost like attacks her and like was like, "Oh, like let me suck on your tits and everything," and like
and the
just
fucking
like pulls her down, and like we get
the bouncer, the dude with the fucking indoor sunglasses.
He's big, bald, and has fucking sunglasses.
You know he's
on.
a bouncer.
You know he's a bouncer. So he like kicks him the fuck out.
Well, the funniest part is when he kicks him out, he like rams him into every table on the way out.
Oh yeah, no, he makes no effort to like fucking save anything.
No subtlety, just like fuck off. And
then it follows our dude, the douchebag,
the drunk guy,
and you know what's gonna. It's a horror movie where they're following like an unimportant,
unrelated person. You know something's up.
You know something fucked up is gonna happen to this guy.
Because he goes home.
I mean, honestly, maybe he kind of deserves it, but
it was, dude. I mean, he's a dick. I will say he probably got the roughest death in the movie, though.
He does get the roughest death in the movie
because he goes up to his apartment and like immediately there's like a Garrett wire around his throat.
And they tussle a little bit, and then he gets like thrown over like a staircase and stabbed by a bunch of like fence spikes.
Yeah, and just stabs into like all of the fence spikes.
Yes.
And then next scene, they're taking out the garbage in the morning, and they throw it in. Then the machine starts like going, and the guy looks in there, and his body's all like fucking.
Our douchebag got like basically pulverized by a fucking. A trash compactor after getting choked, after getting thrown on fucking spikes.
Yeah, no, he gets by far the worst death in the movie.
So now we're back to the porno.
and they're like talking about it because the woman works at the club with her, and she's like, yeah, like I don't know, it was so violent, so crazy, I can't believe it happened. And the guy's like, the studio owner is standing there just looking kind of like on edge.
Well, he's just watching, because I think he's just observing what's going on in the studio.
And the guy's like, and his like assistant comes up and he's like, I don't know why you're so like upset. It's not like it's hardcore porn, it's just some softcore shit. But he's just not saying anything to him.
And so the director is like filming them, and they're like saying lines, and then she forgets one of her lines.
She forgets a line,
and she goes over to her script, and you see like a light like kind of like bounce a little bit.
Yeah, it's like one of those like studio
like a studio spotlight.
It just starts like the rope is slowly.
It shows the rope like slowly untying, so you don't know who's gonna get wrecked. I thought it was gonna be the girl.
I thought that too.
But so she's reading her script, and you see the light bounce a little bit, and he's like kind of watching the light, and he's just like seeing it kind of like go down, and then she like remembers her like line, and then the other dude goes over to the like script thing, because there's
like a table. They're doing the bathtub scene again, and there's a table next to it that has a script, so they all keep walking to the table. So the spotlight is right above it.
So the actor goes over, and like the spotlight almost like drops on him, and then like the director's like, no, let me just set the scene for you, and he like looks at his like script, and then the rope finally unties and like smashes the director,
and we get a dummy shot. And you know me, I love dummy shots.
I love a good dummy shot.
I don't care.
This one was pretty well done, because he like folds on himself.
Well, here's the thing. I do not discriminate against my dummies. I love bad dummy shots. I love good dummy shots. I just love dummies. I love the thought of directors dressing up a fucking dummy exactly like the actor and then fucking it up. My favorite is when they throw them off like a cliff or something.
The ragdoll effects are my favorite too.
Oh, I love when they throw dummies off of cliffs for buildings. And you just imagine them dressing it up like the actor, and then just some Goomba just chucking
just
it.
Yeeting it off the freaking building.
And then it's just ragdolling away. I love it. And they're like, but it falls on him, and it's like kind of sparking. And they take it off, and his like face and back is all burned.
Barbecued his face,
and
he's dead.
He's dead.
In scene. Let's go to the next one. So it's the two women talking about Anne, and they're getting suspicious too about her, like because it's the one woman that got like stuck in the forest.
She was the one stuck in the forest, and
she's talking to the other woman that works at the club, and they're saying how Anne's
it's the woman who was at the film shoot.
Yep. And they're like talking about the director and how Anne's acting really weird, and they're like getting suspicious.
And one of them's like, I'm leaving here. I'll stay somewhere else. Like, you should come with me.
She's like, I can't be around Annie. Who knows what she's gonna do next? And Annie hears that and like just storms out.
And then she's like, I wonder if she heard it. She's like, well, that's just one more reason why you shouldn't stay here.
Yep. So the girl goes into the bathroom, the actress,
to start getting ready.
And we see like blood start dripping onto the sink and onto her.
On her head.
She starts screaming, and we see blood from the ceiling. And she screams, and like the other girl comes in.
She sees it too.
Yep. So they go.
So she's like, stay here. Like, I'm gonna check. And she goes all the way up the stairs, up to that room, and just sees that there's like a bucket of paint.
Yes. All while this is happening, while she's checking on the bucket of paint, the other girl is like kind of standing on the stairs, and she starts going up a little bit, and then out of nowhere,
so she's like halfway up the stairs, and then we just see like a disembodied knife stabbing her like kneecaps and
it
like
goes
legs.
through her like ankle, it goes like into her like abdomen, like everywhere.
She just dies on the stairs.
She dies upside down on the stairs,
and
it's actually like this. The way it was filmed was like you were saying, like Argento, because it was like she's like laying like backwards on the stairs, and there's blood like all over like
there's
her
like
body
blood
and like
going down her face.
Yeah.
I also say Argento because the whole like close-ups of knives, and it's very
right. It's very the murders are very stylized.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not like it's not just like
it just
like
happens.
Sword swings, like cut. Guy's dead, you know. Like,
no,
it's very stylish.
It's like a combo of like the shower scene in Psycho mixed with like Argento.
Yes.
Just more blood. And after this,
So now we get Anne again.
at the we get the assistant at the film studio,
Yes.
and he's like wrapping up for the night, and then Anne comes in.
Yep. So she's like saying she has like this. She's been like acting really weird. She's like had these weird feelings, and like she doesn't know what's going on, and she's like kind of questioning her own like sanity because she's like even questioning if she actually had a cut on her hand, and she was talking to this guy, and he's like, "Well, have you like?"
He's like, well, didn't your cousin tell you what happened
And
when
she's
you were
like,
hypnotized?
No. So he tells her, he's like, "You almost like killed him."
You tried to kill him with a knife, yeah.
And she's like, "Well, like I didn't even know that was happening. I have to go talk to him, basically."
And she leaves, and then the assistant goes to his phone.
And the phone doesn't work.
Shocking.
So he goes into
He hears a noise.
So he goes into the studio, and like this scene.
Well, because he goes in there and like nothing's happening, and then like the sink just falls.
Well, so remember, no, it's the mirror on top just falls.
Oh no,
like,
it's the medicine cabinet.
yeah, the medicine cabinet falls, and this is the porn like studio setup. So the medicine cabinet falls, and then he goes over and like checks it, and then like the sink like explodes like off, and then like, there's like a fire in the fucking bathtub.
And the set walls start collapsing, and he tries running away, and there's like a fucking some sort of a rig tries to like smash him.
So he gets out of the way, and then like a bunch of like camera film like starts like tornadoing around him,
and like engulfs him, and then he's still like also like every bit of glass, furniture, whatever is like flying.
I guarantee
this whole time.
This like, so they do this a couple times, but like this was maybe like their last day on the set, and they're just like, okay, well, you know what? This is our last day on this set. Let's just fucking go ham and break everything we can.
Let's just go insane.
They just fucking break everything, like every bit of glass, just fucking everywhere, and this like the sink explodes, the walls collapse, the tub goes on fire, like this, like the medicine cabinet flies against something, like the fucking rig like keeps like getting all fucking thrown around and shit. Like it's insane. It's great, but it's insane.
This part though is very Argento because he gets through the door and like just kind of like falls down the stairs, and he keeps falling, and eventually like his head at the bottom of the stairs, like a little window, and his head goes out the window.
So he's all like kind of like basically like all dazed because he just fucking like got hit, like just had his head crash through a fucking window.
And he looks up and he sees like
there's a little bit of the window pane still left.
And then it
fucking
falls,
slides down,
and then we see that it's just like his head peeking out like upside down out of the window,
and the fucking piece of glass is right through his fucking neck.
It's great.
It's fucking awesome. He got guillotined by a fucking window.
And then we see that the phone is ringing now, and it's the guy, male cousin, trying to call him.
Yes.
Not getting through.
So now the police are at the hostel. And
they want to talk to Anne.
They're talking to the woman whose car broke down, and Anne walks in and then immediately tries to get away because she notices the police are there, and she has like a guilty conscience.
So she closes the door and runs out the window. One of the cops
goes out,
and his car starts up. Like all the lights, one by one, come on, and then it starts driving after him. But we see, like in brief snippets, that there's nobody in the driver's seat.
No one driving the seat.
And the cop like tries dodging it, and eventually it gets him, and it like runs over his feet and everything. And then we get Anne is like on the subway, riding somewhere, and then she gets off the subway, and then as she's like running through this park, all this wind picks up.
Yep, she gets like, there's lightning, there's like a little bit of wind, she gets knocked over.
And she sees a car, and she gets in it. It's just an unlocked car in the woods.
So she like just sits there for a sec, and then all of a sudden the car starts like rocking everywhere.
It just starts shaking.
And then like just out of nowhere, the car starts just lifting up in the air and just like flying around a tree.
Just flying around and like bouncing back and forth.
So she opens the door
and eventually like drops down.
Yeah, and then like the car is just like floating and like obviously coming after her, and then it just drops.
It just
like,
drops.
Like all the glass shatters. They just dropped a car from fucking
It's great.
2 stories. It's great.
And then but eventually she gets to the house.
Yeah, so she sneaks in the house because there's that window that broke, and so she gets in there, and our dude has a pistol. He's like lounging, and he has a pistol on his like nightstand.
Like he knows what's coming.
So he hears the noise of her coming in. He grabs the gun and like runs downstairs.
But while she's in like the living room, little by little, like shit starts going crazy. Like glass explodes. She looks at like some furniture on a table, and it briefly turns into a snake. The books start flying out of the bookshelf.
Stuff starts rattling on the walls.
And she picks up like a
halberd
off the wall.
Yeah.
And is just carrying it, and then she hears this noise, and she walks around.
And she's like kind of swinging at things, and like there's like this weird noise on the stairs, so she swings and she kills her cousin.
Yeah.
He falls to the ground because he fires off a shot and then like falls to the ground like off the stairs. And she's like just looking, and then like fog starts to fill up the entire fucking house.
Well, then they turn on their dry ice machine, and we see the witch from the beginning show up.
And the witch starts laughing, like maniacally.
Again, while all the fucking furniture starts flying around,
I'll say it again. This is like their last fucking.
Their last day on this set.
Last day on this set, so they just fucking broke everything. They just fucking went ham. There's fucking like cups flying everywhere. There's like plates like coming out of cupboards, and then the cupboard explodes. There's like
and
there's shit happening all over.
And she's trying to dodge all this, and eventually like it calms down for a little, and then the sword like just gets picked off the wall and launches at her.
And she doesn't even have time to react. It fucking pierces through her fucking chest.
And then like flies.
And, like harpoons her to the fucking wall.
And the movie ends.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, it just fucking ends.
It ends on her face, her dead face.
That's it.
And the witch got her way. Her fucking curse worked.
That's it.
Like a fucking dream.
End movie.
Witch wins. Dude, like, I didn't know what I was expecting. Like, I was kind of expecting them to do the whole, like, oh, well, like, you know, we need to do this to reverse the curse and, like, all this stuff. I guess maybe I'm watching too many new horror movies, because I remember these 70s and 80s movies, a lot of the times they don't give a fuck. They're just like, there's no way of solving this.
The whole point is that you can't.
They're just fucking dead. Like, your family fucked up. Here's how they pay for it.
Well, what I appreciate is that, I mean, first of all, this movie, there's like no time to even do that, because at some point it's literally death after death after death after death.
It's kind of slow to start, but once they start killing people, they just fucking don't stop.
But there's like, I mean, I appreciate it. Appeals to my lizard brain.
Yes.
It's an hour 20-some minute movie where there's like, it's just deaths. Simple.
Yeah.
There's no like exposition. There's no like, oh, we have to like find out what the demon want. It's just fuck. Shit happens.
It's like kind of like almost like a slasher movie in the fact that
it basically is.
Fucking witch is the slasher.
I mean, the setup and the way it like goes is like a slasher movie where you just have your cast, and then one by one they all die.
Yes.
Which I love slasher movies, so I appreciate that, because it means that the director is less likely to waste your fucking time.
And the director didn't waste our fucking time.
And like any slasher, this does not waste your time. It's just, you get your setup, you introduce the characters, and then they death.
But for me, it's like, I love when a movie can like introduce like unique ways on how to kill. Like, that's the whole point of slasher movies. Like, you're like, okay, how is he gonna kill?
What's next? Yeah.
How is, like, Jason gonna kill his, like, millionth victim, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen now? And so it's like, it can't just be like, oh, like, he's just gonna use the machete the whole time and kill
No.
a bunch of people with machete. There has to be
Creativity.
some creativity and unique ways. Like, you watch them for the deaths.
Yeah.
It sounds fucked up, but, like, that's why people love slasher movies. Like, you watch them for unique ways.
That's why me and you watch 80s and 70s horror movies.
Yes.
Because, I'm sorry, it's just good shit.
It is good shit. The deaths are just fucking insane.
And the movies are all like 90 minutes long or less. It's just simple.
It's just a good time. I don't know why watching people die in weird ways is a fucking good time, but it is. Okay?
I mean, for me, I appreciate the finality of it
Yes.
because you get these movies and you introduce like 10 people and you in your brain know that all these fools are going to die.
Yes.
It just,
Maybe one will escape.
there's something
Maybe.
comforting about it.
Maybe one will escape, but it's not likely.
Not always.
No.
And even then, even if that one does escape, if it's a good movie, by the time that one person lives, there's so much fucking bloodshed that it's like,
But
Well-
a good slasher movie also introduces some level of supernatural to it, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, you got Jason who's indestructible. You
or
cannot
Freddy, who's
and-
in your dreams.
Yeah, like Jason, you literally can't fucking kill him.
Yeah.
Like, he is indestructible. And like Freddy's in your dreams. Michael Myers just fucking insane and
Yeah.
like knows how to escape death.
But there can't be too much.
There can't be too much supernatural
You can't.
stuff.
It's one of those things where you shouldn't bother trying to explain it.
Well, like, so no one explains why Jason Voorhees literally cannot die. Like, they never, because they don't have to explain it.
We in the audience don't need to
There's
know.
no one's asking that question.
Yeah.
And I like that this movie, they're just like, nah, it's just a fucking
It's
witch.
a witch.
She's just an evil fucking witch, and she just wants to kill people.
Yeah.
And she does the entire movie.
That's it.
And like at the end of the movie, you realize it was no one. So it subverted your expectations because it's no one killing these people.
No, it's just
the witch.
Supernatural shenanigans.
Yes,
Going on.
and it's great.
No, I like this movie.
I loved it because I kept having theories like maybe it's the dude, maybe it's this. Nah, it's just the witch just fucking
Yeah.
killing people.
Yeah, everyone's fucked.
Yep,
And then at the end, they're all dead. Dunzo.
and it's great. I like horror movies that don't give a single fuck.
Oh, this does not give a fuck.
And it's like it's just campy and just great. It's so good. Like
It's entertaining.
like these are the kind of horror movies I want to see on this podcast. We don't get this a lot.
Not a
like
lot.
we said at the beginning. But when we do, like I savor it.
Oh, I like this movie.
I do too. I would definitely like say Terror is like probably one of the better movies we watched of '78, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
one of
so
the-
far the best.
One of the better horror
Horror ones,
movies, yeah. I would say not as far as action because we all know which one is still the fucking greatest movie we've watched in '78.
Death
At least
Force.
in my opinion, Death Force is it's a fucking powerhouse.
Death Force cannot be beaten.
Because I didn't go out and look up Terror and where to buy it, so
No, though though as far as horror goes, this is good.
so Terror. Shitty Pretty, what would you give it?
I'm gonna say. I mean, look, I'm gonna preface this. Shitty Pretty is all about entertainment for me.
Yes.
I'm gonna say a 9.
You know what? I'll give it a 9 too. Like and that's just because like it just did its job well.
Yeah.
Like it's wholly entertaining. Like
It is.
and it's not even. It's kind of crazy because like the acting's not completely god awful.
No, I liked it.
Most of the acting is actually pretty solid. It was funny. It was actually like scary at times, which was really surprising to me. And the deaths were like unique and they were cool, and like I liked the whole like kind of like how it was stylish. It wasn't just like the like freeze frame cut, he's dead. You know, it was like
It wasn't stock.
No, we're gonna show this like this angle where like the knife is going into her like ankle and shit like that. Like it was really cool how they kind of like designed all the murders.
Yeah.
Like a good horror movie
like
does.
A good slasher.
Yes, like
where
a good
it's not just
movie does.
It's not just a fucking just flat angle of someone stabbing and then cut. Dead.
The worst you could do is like a cutaway. Like that. Those are my least favorite deaths because where you don't see anything, it's just like the guy swinging down on something, and you're just supposed to like expect that it's the body, but like they don't show anything.
And then you never see anything. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's stupid. That's like like PG-13 horror movies where
Oh.
you get no violence whatsoever, and they're just like no.
The ultimate PG-13 horror meme is like, the murderer swings an axe, and then cut away, and the person wakes up from a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're watching a PG-13 horror movie.
Yep.
This is not PG-13.
This
I
is
do.
definitely not PG-13 because there is an extended full frontal nudity scene.
Yeah, and
Lots of F-bombs.
lots.
Like this is definitely not a PG-13 movie, and
bless it.
I appreciate it even more because of that.
Bless it.
Like I said before, I hope you watched the movie before this because, like, that end scene with the fucking witch appearing and harpooning the fucking girl with the sacred sword is so worth it to watch that before you get it spoiled because it's just so fucking unexpected and I loved it.
I just did not expect her to fly across the room.
She got a fucking sword thrown into her so fucking hard that
It
she
harpooned her into the wall.
pinned to the fucking wall.
I was not expecting
She
that.
got yeeted across the fucking across the fucking room by a sword, and it was oh god,
It was great.
Thank you, whoever I can't remember the director's name, but
Norman Warren.
because Prey was good and
Prey
this
was great.
is good,
Yeah.
so like you do well, like you do a good job, like for your budget and like for being a B movie, you could do a lot fucking worse.
Yeah, trust me. We've had other repeat offenders on here who can't.
Good old Al.
Al Adamson,
Good old Al.
the fucking mongoloid.
He tries so hard, okay?
He does try.
He
I
likes
suppose.
car explosions, which is
Cars flying
nice.
off cliffs.
Yeah, and explosions.
And exploding for no reason.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Terror's just a solid. There's not much else I can say. It's just a solid slasher movie. I wasn't expecting it to be a slasher movie involving a witch, but it is, and that's great.
Yeah, no, I dig it.
Yeah, so go watch it. 9
Go
out of
watch
10.
it.
Go watch
Nice.
Terror.
Terror. Watch it.
So, kind of housekeeping here. We do have a date for the live stream, right?
The 25th.
25th. So we're gonna do like kind of a Halloween so I say it that, but most of the games we play are horror games anyway.
I'm not keeping to that just because I think 6 hours straight of only bad,
Horror games.
aka bad walking simulators would probably kill me.
But here's
We'll
what-
have action,
I guess
but
our talking points will be more horror oriented because we're huge horror fans. I've been watching a shitload of fucking horror movies.
so by that point, by the 25th, like we will have plenty of horror shit to talk about.
My catalog is getting completely full by that time. So
Yeah.
like I will have plenty to talk about. And like we're horror fans anyway, so like it'll probably most of our conversation will be horror oriented. And that's what I mean more by like Halloween themed.
Even
because
if the games aren't.
the games probably
topics
won't,
of conversation
the
will be.
games probably won't be, but like we both love Halloween and we both love the horror movies, so the topics will definitely be that.
We can talk about our love of pumpkin flavored
God.
shit.
The audience might not know that, Alex, that I am a fiend.
Pumpkin's great.
I'm a fiend for the pumpkin spice. I don't even care. I'm like I am so basic that literally when Starbucks dropped the pumpkin spice latte, I went out and got one, and it was magical. Also, if you don't know, It'll change your life. We're not sponsored by Starbucks in any way, shape, or form. Although, I mean,
If they want to, I guess.
hey, if you want to,
Well-
I drink your coffee quite a bit. So,
Especially in October.
because I'm basic. So so anyway, go do yourself a favor. Get a chai, a chai latte, an iced chai latte, or hot, I guess, but don't add water. Sorry, I'm being too specific. But anyway, so
That's fine.
go get yourself a chai and then add pumpkin to it. It will change your life. It's like fall in a cup.
Don't give him too much though. We'll give him all the shit on the live stream.
Oh no, I won't. I'm just telling, like,
All the desserts,
we will talk about pumpkin spice in length.
all the random shit we found. It's great. Fall
I've
is
already been
here.
finding stuff. I love fall. I love pumpkin spice. It's gonna be a great live stream. You should all join. We will talk about all that stuff and more.
And horror.
We got like 6 hours to talk about whatever the fuck we
got
want to talk
6
about.
hours
Okay?
to suffer.
Yes, we have to talk about something because if we just focus on the game, it's fucking.
I
awful.
might even show up to the live stream with a pumpkin
I
spice
will
latte.
definitely show up to the live stream with a pumpkin spice latte. Okay,
And we'll have
Not even gonna
pumpkin
lie.
beer. Oh.
it's gonna be great.
Oh.
It's gonna be
Baby.
such a fall / Halloween fucking edition of the live stream that it's gonna be a good time.
Fucking summer's over, baby.
So 25th, tune in. I will try and advertise it this time because I'm really fucking awful at that, but I will try really hard.
It is what it is, dude.
I'm fucking awful.
I don't give a shit.
I'm a terrible media person.
It's fine. I don't give a shit. I'm just excited for 6 hours of garbage games.
It's gonna be great. So 25th on our YouTube. That's they mostly come out at night podcast. Just look for our logo, and then
We'll be live.
you'll know you're on the right channel because our main video is Help Me I'm Possessed, which is the fucking pinnacle of our
I did that on purpose.
podcasting career. So
I don't know if it's the pinnacle, but there's just a lot that went right with it that I just had to put that as our featured. So if someone has to listen to our podcast for the first time, by all means. Because that's specifically for those who are unsubscribed.
yes,
It will play that episode.
that is probably one of my favorite episodes that we've ever.
If you're subscribed,
recorded.
you just get our most recent one.
Yes.
But if you're not, if you're a fucking stranger and you don't know what you're in for, you get to listen to me and Will going absolutely insane.
I also wanted to take the time to thank everyone that does listen to the podcast. I know we don't do that a lot, but we appreciate you guys. All 6 of our viewers. No, no, we appreciate you guys listening to us and like kind of just supporting us. And like it's just like kind of awesome. Like we're just doing this for fun.
Appreciate the comments.
We appreciate
Though,
the comments.
On the live stream,
We should talk about.
we
that
will talk
one
about-
comment. We'll talk about one comment because it was interesting. I laughed really, really fucking hard for a very long time because of one of our comments. So, anyway, that'll be on the live stream. So tune in for that. You don't want to miss that.
No.
But yeah, no. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it. We're just doing this for fun. Just 2 dudes hanging out and like. I don't know,
guys
we're just
being
having
dudes.
a fucking ride. So, anyway, thank you so much for listening. And for They Mostly Come Out at Night, this has been Will.
This has been Alex.
And we will talk to you all later.
Bye.